Welcome to Campfire Stories.
Welcome back, friends. Last time we left Lucas Meyers sitting on the floor of a rented room on Vancouver Island, back against the door, listening to his own heart. A well-dressed stranger had come to his foggy little town and stood in the one cafe asking the girl behind the till about a young fellow who had come into money that summer. Lucas heard 3 words of it through an open door and kept walking. Tonight, the man in the good coat gets a little closer.
I have been dreading this and wanting it all at once, Marty. That poor boy did not sleep, did he?
Not a minute. He sat against that door until the window went from black to gray, and somewhere in those hours he did the hardest arithmetic of his young life. He could not stay. But you cannot just bolt either, not with a duffel bag full of $100 bills. A boy running blind with cash on his body is a boy who gets noticed at every counter and every ticket window between here and anywhere. If he was going to move, he had to move smart, and he was 19, and he had never had to be smart about anything before.
And there is nobody he can ask. That is the loneliest part. Most of us, at 19, we had a mother, a friend, somebody to phone at 4 a.m. He cannot tell one living soul.
Not one. So he did the only reconnaissance a frightened kid can do. He waited for full daylight, put on his mill clothes so he would look like he belonged, and walked down to that cafe for a coffee he did not want, to hear what he could hear. And the girl behind the till, sweet thing, could not wait to tell him. A man had been in yesterday, she said. City fellow, lovely coat, real polite. Looking for a young guy who might have come into some money. Asked if she knew anybody like that.
Oh, Marty? She is telling him to his face and she has no idea. What did she say to the man? Did she tell him anything?
She told Lucas, laughing, that she had said no, not around here, everybody here is broke. But then, Carol, she said the thing that turned Lucas to ice. She said, the man left a phone number. Said if that young fellow ever turned up, there would be something in it for whoever pointed him out. A finder's fee. And she had pinned that number up by the till, right there, next to the lost cat notices.
A reward for pointing at him. Marty, that is a net. That is not one man looking anymore. That is the whole town turned into eyes without knowing it. Everybody who pours his coffee is now being paid to notice him?
That is exactly what it was, and Lucas understood it in a heartbeat. This man in the good coat was not going to kick down doors. He did not need to. He was going to stand in the middle of a small town and let the town bring the boy to him. And it very nearly worked, because as Lucas set his cup down with a hand he was fighting to keep steady, the girl said, "Oh, and he is still around, staying out at the motel by the highway. Said he would give it a few days."
He is still here. He is a mile away. Marty, that boy has to move now, today, this hour.
He knew it. He walked out of that cafe slow, the way you walk when every instinct is screaming run, and he did not go back to his room the direct way. He circled. And it saved him, Carol, because parked down the block from his rooming house was the clean, dark sedan with the rental plates. The man in the good coat was already there, already talking to his landlady on her front step. That woman who had counted his cash twice and looked at his face while she did it.
The landlady, who watched him pay a month up front in $100 bills. Oh, Marty, she is going to remember every one of them.
She was remembering them right then. Lucas stood frozen behind a hedge across the street and watched her nod and point, not down the road, but up. Up at the second-floor window. His window. And the man in the good coat looked up at it, unhurried, and said something, and reached into that beautiful coat and took out his wallet.
He is paying her.
Right there on the step. Marty, everything that boy owns is in that room. His clothes, his few little things. Is the money up there too? Please tell me the money is not up there.
The money was on his back, Carol. That is the one thing he had learned. The duffel never left his shoulder, not to the mill, not to the cafe, not to the toilet. Everything else in the world he owned was in that room, and he let all of it go without a second thought. He backed away from that hedge, one slow step at a time, and when the corner hid him he ran, and this time he did not stop running. Down through the fish plant lot, along the water, out to the highway a half-mile north of the motel where the man was staying, and he stuck out his thumb heading the one direction that made any sense at all.
Which direction, Marty? Where does a boy even go?
East, Carol. Toward the ferry. Toward the mainland. Toward Alberta. Because somewhere on that floor the night before, back against the door, he had already worked out the terrible truth of his situation. Running was not a plan. A boy can run for a week, a month, but these were people who paid strangers to watch for him in towns he had never been to. They would find him again and again, and one day they would find him somewhere with no hedge to hide behind. As long as that gold sat in the ground at the Cochran turnoff, he was the only loose end that led to it. And loose ends, Carol, get tied off.
So the gold that is hunting him is also the only thing that can save him. He cannot just leave it and walk away clean, because to them he is a witness either way. Oh, that is a trap with no soft corner anywhere on it.
None. And he saw only one move on the whole board. Get to that gold before they did. Because whoever had the 49 bars had the power, and whoever did not had only a target on his back. So a boy who had spent 3 weeks running away from Alberta now had to run all the way back to it, to a water tower at a gas station, and dig up half a ton of another man's gold with the owner's own people breathing down the same highway.
He is going back. Marty, he is 19 and he is going back into the middle of it. Did he make the ferry? Did that man realize, up in that empty room with the landlady, that the bird had already flown?
He made the ferry, Carol, by 9 minutes. Stood at the back rail in the wind, and watched the island go small and gray behind him, and for 1 hour on that crossing he let himself believe he had a head start. But here is what he did not know, and what I have to tell you, because it is the thing that turns this whole story. While Lucas stood at that rail, congratulating himself on 9 minutes, the man in the good coat was standing in Lucas's empty rented room, holding the one thing the boy had left behind. A bus schedule from the little station in town. And on it, circled in pencil, in Lucas's own careless hand, was the eastbound line. The one that ran to Calgary.
No. No, Marty, he circled it. He left them a map. The one thing he needed to keep secret, and he wrote it down and left it on the table.
Left it on the table. The man in the good coat folded that schedule into his pocket, thanked the landlady for her trouble, and walked out to his car in no particular hurry at all. Because he did not need to catch a 19-year-old on a ferry. He knew where the boy was going now. And he had a very good idea of why.
You cannot leave us here. You truly cannot. Who is this man in the good coat who pays a whole town to watch a child and never once has to raise his voice? How much does he already know about a gas station near Cochran? And Lucas, out on that ferry thinking he is 9 minutes ahead when he may already be a full step behind, does he reach that gold first, or does he dig up a hole and find the man in the good coat standing over it waiting for him? I do not know how that boy sleeps. I do not know how any of us will until part 4.
Every one of those questions has an answer, and the answers are all waiting for us next time. At the Cochran turnoff, 5 feet out from the northeast corner of a water tower, in the cold ground. Until then, friends, sleep warm, keep the fire high, and remember the quiet ones in the good coats are the ones you watch. I'm Marty Shepherd.
And I'm Carol. Travel safe, hold your people close, and we will see you for part 4.